Under the dappled shade of tall oaks lining the quiet cul-de-sac, Ethan Caldwell sat in his black SUV, watching the sleek iron gates of his new home glide shut with a soft, final hum. It was a clean sound, sharp and decisive, like the life he'd built for himself, ordered, secure, no cracks for trouble to slip through. Ethan wasn't just any retiree. For 23 years, he'd carved out a name as a trauma surgeon, then as the mastermind behind a hush-hush medical firm serving the Pacific Northwest elite folks who were rich, paranoid, or both. When he cashed out early and bought this modern fortress in a gated Portland suburb, privacy wasn't a perk, it was the whole damn point. His house was all dark wood and steel, sharp angles, and smarter than most people he'd met. Smart locks, facial recognition, the works. He wasn't here to show off. He was here to vanish, to savor the quiet of being nobody's emergency anymore. That first afternoon, as the security crew packed up and Ethan stood in his driveway, arms crossed, eyes scanning, he spotted her. She was striding down the sidewalk, heels clicking like she owned the pavement, wearing a floral dress too bright for the crisp fall air. Her smile was tight, practiced, the kind that screamed HOA busybody. "Good afternoon," she called, while VYing like they were old pals. Ethan nodded, cool but civil. "I'm Lisa Morrow," she said like her name should ring bells. "Neighborhood committee. Just wanted to officially welcome you." Committee, not board, he noted. No real power, just a title she'd probably invented. She rambled about shared expectations and Ida's gates. "Very sturdy. Do they lock both ways?" Ethan's gaze didn't waver. "They're set up for security," he said flatly. Lisa pushed, hinting at emergency access and Soul cohesion. Ethan cut her off. "I don't share systems. My house is medically equipped. I'm a doctor." Her smile twitched, but she didn't back down, muttering about community spirit before clip-clopping away. Ethan watched her go, already clocking her type, someone who'd twist neighborly into a leash. That night, as the sun bled orange through the trees, Ethan ran a system check, not because he was paranoid, but because he was meticulous. A faint ping in the logs caught his eye in outside IP, unregistered, probing his gate's remote access. Could have been nothing, a bot, a glitch. He archived it. By week's end, 2 more pings hit, always between 1 and 2 a.m., subtle but consistent. Ethan tightened his firewall, killed cloud syncing, and kept his system local. He wasn't spooked, but he was counting steps. Lisa showed up again during a so-called neighborhood review, clipboard in hand, flanked by 2 women who looked like they'd rather be anywhere else. "Just checking for Soul continuity," she chirped, her eyes flicking to his motion sensors. Ethan didn't bite. "It's internal. No signal past my property." Lisa pressed, hinting at street-facing tech needing HOA approval. Ethan's voice stayed level. "File a request through my lawyer." The women left, but the next morning, an envelope appeared in his mailbox. No return address. Just a typed note warning his gates could obstruct emergency response. It wasn't a violation, just a nudge. Ethan scanned it, filed it, and added a silent lockout to his system. Any unauthorized override attempt would trap the intruder. The real trouble started after midnight, weeks later. Ethan was in his study, sipping coffee, when his dashboard blinked a low-priority alert. Someone had pinged his gate panel from an unrecognized VYC, same IP range as before. This wasn't a glitch. It was a test, quiet, like a thief checking a lock. Ethan dug into the logs. No brute force, no malware, just a soft handshake, someone feeling out his defenses. He didn't call the cops, useless for this. Instead, he rang his gates installers, a Colorado firm that built systems for paranoid tycoons. By noon, they'd embedded a digital tripwire, logging every signal, tracing MAC addresses, even triangulating locations. It was a trap in Cybele waiting. 3 nights later, at 2 a.m., the trap snapped shut. A faint signal hit, 12 seconds, right at the gate. Ethan checked the cameras, nothing but a flicker, maybe a shadow. The signal came from a mobile device 15 feet from his panel. The next night, it happened again, stronger, 24 seconds, likely from a car. Ethan's pulse stayed steady, but his mind raced. This wasn't a break-in attempt. They were trying to saw his system. He called the neighborhood's private patrol, laying out the breach with cold precision, emphasizing it threatened the whole community's digital grid. The officer, a gruff ex-soldier named Torres, promised to patrol and spread the word. Tension simmered. Lisa went quiet, but Ethan noticed new Aisa black SUV lingering, a clipboard guy who wasn't with landscaping, an envelope with a red sticker and a typed note. Redundancy is weakness. Cooperate. Ethan locked it away, his jaw tight. This wasn't just Lisa. Someone bigger was pulling strings. The breaking point came on a frosty Sunday morning. Ethan stepped out to check his mailbox and saw a blue crossover idling on his driveway, just past the property line. Lisa climbed out, sunglasses on, phone clutched tight. "Ethan, we've got a misunderstanding," she said, voice syrupy. His eyes caught the signal booster on her dashboard, a prograde to VYC for amplifying Wi-Fi. "You're trespassing," he said, voice like steel. Lisa stammered about signal bleed and community networks. Ethan didn't blink. He pulled a remote from his pocket and pressed it. The gates snapped shut, locking her car in. "Security's on the way," he said, turning back to the house. Lisa fumed, shouting about lawsuits, but Ethan was already inside, watching from his window. Torres arrived first, calm but firm. Ethan handed him a flash drive logs, timestamps, footage tying Lisa's booster to the pings. Lisa claimed it was just for email syncing, but Torres wasn't buying it. "You're 27 feet inside his property," he said, "and that booster's illegal near private systems." Ethan didn't press charges, but the incident was filed. Lisa drove off, tires spitting gravel, her face a mask of rage. The fight wasn't over. A certified letter arrived, demanding Ethan open his system to Veldren Networks, a firm he recognized from a past client's data breach. Veldren wasn't about fixing Wi-Fi. They mapped systems for corporate takeovers. Ethan's lawyer, Sarah Klein, fired back, citing privacy laws and threatening lawsuits. Then, at 3:47 a.m., a rear fence sensor tripped a 10-second signal pulse from the woods. Ethan's thermal cameras caught two figures, gloved, one holding a VYC. He didn't chase them. He sent the footage to Detective Cassidy, a cybercrime specialist who'd been tracking Veldren. "They're in a gray zone," Cassidy said. "Legal, but barely." An anonymous email changed everything. It held a contract between Veldren and Paragon Equity Partners, a group buying up neighborhood infrastructure through HOA deals. Ethan's gates were a non-compliant node, a threat to their plan to control every system. This wasn't about safety, it was a corporate land grab. At an HOA meeting, Ethan crashed. Lisa and her panel accused his gates of causing signal noise. He dropped a folder certified logs, 2 expert reports VYing his system was clean, and data tying Lisa's booster to the probes. "Explain why your committee's lawyer has telecom ties," he said. The room froze. Lisa's smile cracked. They backed off, but Ethan knew they'd regroup. Days later, a fake compliance order demanded a Veldren evaluation. A white van circled, scanning his property. Then, 3 power flickers hit, and pings probed his smart grid, traced to an HOA member's utility box. Ethan's decoy code crashed their software, but he didn't sleep. Sarah filed an injunction, exposing the HOA's overreach. News outlets caught wind, and 3 neighbors shared similar stories: pressure, probes, threats. Cassidy escalated it to federal investigators. The final showdown came when 2 Veldren techs set up scanners outside Ethan's gate. Compliance order, they claimed. Ethan gave them 5 seconds to leave. They packed up. Lisa appeared hours later, alone, holding a folder. 48 hours to comply, she said. Ethan leaned into his speaker. "You try to hack my home. Escalate." The gate stayed shut. The court upheld the injunction. Veldren's contract froze, Paragon faced federal scrutiny, and Lisa resigned, citing health reasons. The neighborhood shifted, gates went up. Neighbors avoided Ethan, but respected his line. A cryptic note arrived. "We underestimated you. You held." Ethan shredded it. He didn't need their concession. He'd won. Rain fell softly as Ethan stood on his patio, coffee steaming. His home fell whole, not just safe, but his. New shrubs lined the driveway, green and sharp. He sent wine to a neighbor's gathering, a nod to peace, not surrender. Cassidy called Paragon was crumbling, Veldrin fined. Ethan hung up, walked outside, and let the clean air hit his face. The fight wasn't over, but he'd drawn a line and held it, not with noise, but with iron will. What do you think, was Ethan a hero for standing his ground? Or did he escalate a petty feud into a war? Should he have compromised for the community? Or was his privacy worth the fight? Could Lisa have been a pawn, or was she the mastermind? Drop your take below, hit like if you're Team Ethan, and subscribe for more stories where the little guy fights back.